let me just start what I want to talk to you about tonight. So I want to talk to you about setting realistic expectations for your weight loss surgery journey. And I spoke to Dr. Ruby a little bit about this, and he said he believes that 70% of weight loss surgery patients, as high as that, do not have realistic expectations of what to expect. And I thought, my goodness, you know, this is something that we need to talk about. You know, I need to let people know about this. So thanks for the hearts, look, guys, it's lovely. It's nice to know you're still here, you're listening to me. So I've got some notes because I do want to make sure that I get all this out to you. So please just bear with me on that. But basically, what he did say was obesity is a disease. It is actually classified as a disease now, like cancer, like alcohol addiction is. And that means, and 1 in 4 adults in the UK suffer from obesity. That is a shocking figure. The majority of people that come for weight loss surgery have got to the stage where they are either diabetic, they are insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, or on that continuum somewhere. And we now know that bariatric surgery is now being linked with metabolic surgery, because it has actually been proven that bariatric surgery is the only long-term answer currently available for metabolic problems such as diabetes, insulin resistant, and some of the other things like sleep apnea. It helps to cure those. So, you know, this is not just about weight loss. This is about quality of life. This is about health. This is about giving you the longevity you need to have a full and productive life, okay? And often people really concentrate on how much weight am I going to lose, how much weight am I going to lose, you know? So, you know, I want you to bear in mind that it's not just about that. It's about having a healthy and productive life, and to get back, what I was talking about earlier on about losing myself. Through this process, I have found who I am again. And that is the biggest gift I have ever been given. I know who I am. And do you know what? I'm all right. Quite like myself. I hated myself at the beginning of this process. Absolutely hated myself. So, you know, I'm really pleased that, you know, that is the case. I'm glad it's emotional, Zoe, because it's an emotive thing, you know, it really is. And I think it's so important that we connect on an emotional level. So that mindset thing is why I've decided to do this, that emotional connection, that helping people to get into the right mindset. Because I want people to be successful at this, not just for the first 12 months while we're in the honeymoon period, but forever. You know, I want people to really, really connect with themselves and to feel great about their life, you know, to be excited, to feel empowered, to be passionate again. Because for me, when I was in that awful place, you know, I felt invisible. I kept doing all these diets and I just felt like nothing was working. I felt a failure. I felt that nobody respected me. I felt all of those things. It was just the worst place, that emotional place. And it just does take us to that place of awfulness. So I'm going to talk a bit about the figures, right? So this is what most of you probably expected me to be talking about today. So what are the figures for weight loss surgery? So what would we be expecting? The expectations for you here is, okay, there are some figures, international figures, that say if you have a gastric sleeve, that you would be expected to lose 70% of your excess weight loss, or the amount that you are expected to lose. And I'll explain to you about that in a minute, what that means. If you have a gastric bypass or a mini gastric bypass, that is expected to be between 75 and 80%. And if you have a wrap or application or a band, we're talking 55 to 60% of that. So what does that mean? So it means that the difference between your starting weight or your current weight, or I always say starting weight, and what weight you would be at a BMI of 25, which is classed as normal, and I'm going to say normal in inverted commas, because God, there's so much debate about how accurate that is, and you know, I will do a whole new live about that at another time. Stacey, sorry Michelle, Stacey, we don't know yet. So Stacey is something I'm going to be talking about in another live. It is the very newest one that combines a sleeve with a bypass. I would imagine it will be in the area of a sleeve bypass, so probably in the middle, 80%, 75-80%. Okay, so sorry, I was just answering Michelle's question. So what does that mean? So for example, if you worked out that from where you are now to get to a BMI of 25, you need to lose 10 stone, okay? If you had a sleeve, you would be expected on average, and it is an average, to lose 7 of that 10 stone, okay? And that is an average. So some people would lose less than that, some people would lose more. That is an average. And that is people that are very, very, what I would call, stick to everything, do everything as they are told, they use portion control, they change their mindset, etc. Can get 100%, and some people more than 100%. And then there are other people that maybe aren't as what we would call compliant, that would lose less than 70%. But the problem is with this is that there are so many factors that come into play, and the problem is that we actually end up, we compare ourselves with other people, and it's the worst thing we can do, because everybody's journey is different. And everybody wants to get to a different stage, and that will change as you go along your journey. So if we are set on that like magic number at the end, God, you know, it could take you 12, 18 months to get there, and you may never even get there. And can you imagine how much life has passed by in that time because you're set on that blinking number at the end? And in that time, so many things are going to change. You know, like, for example, the first time I went in an aeroplane and I didn't need a seatbelt extender. Holy shit, I wanted to tell the whole bloody aeroplane. You know, the first time I managed to buy a pair of thigh length, you know, calf length boots. Just, you know, so many what we call non-scale victories, but we're so hung up on the numbers. So it's so important that we not. But let's say that, look at the numbers. So that the numbers say that successful weight loss surgery, any successful weight loss surgery, is 50% after 5 years. So after 5 years, you will have been successful if you have lost and kept off 50% of that excess weight. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you would be happy with that after 5 years. So you've lost it, 50%, and kept it off. Okay. So some of you, not many. Okay. What would you say if I told you, this is fact, that for any other weight loss regime, okay, any other weight loss regime, that the average weight loss is, well, not the average weight loss, let's not go about the average weight loss, but whatever weight a person will lose, they will have put back on. 95% of people will have put that back on within the first 12 months, let alone within 5 years. 95%. So, you know, I know that now I look at that weight loss and think 50%, God, you know, if I get there in 5 years, I'm lucky. No, I'm not. Actually, no, I'm not going to say I'm lucky. I've worked bloody hard at my weight loss journey. And I lost 9 stone. I now am about 8 stone loss. And, you know, I'm going to talk about that as well through this live series. We expect some regain. That is part and parcel of this, because we have a golden 12 months. That first 12 months is when we absolutely, more or less can do whatever we like and we'll lose the weight. And that is so dangerous, because it lulls us into a false sense of security that we don't need to change our mindset, that we don't need to change our relationship with food, that we don't need to exercise, we don't need to get to our demons in there, why we used food as an emotional crutch or whatever we did, because you know what, I'm losing weight anyhow. I see it all the time on the group. Well, I'm losing weight anyhow, so it's fine. Yes, nearly everybody will continue to lose weight in that first 12 months, more or less, whatever they do, because you have changed your metabolism. You've messed up that metabolism. You've shocked it. Your taste buds will change. You won't be as hungry. You may have dumping syndrome. You've got a really smaller stomach. It hasn't dilated to the extent it should do. All of those things combined together, you know, will mean that you will probably continue to lose weight, but it's after that where it gets hard. It's after that when you start to feel hungry again, when dumping syndrome stops happening, because it does. When you think, oh God, I can eat more than I could before. Because you've got this disease of obesity, your body and your subconscious mind drives you back to find ways to use food as a crutch again. And it does. I hear people say, well, you know, I'm starting to eat more. I'm starting to eat more often. I don't know when to stop. You know, all of that starts to come in. So that's why we have to change our mindset. So important. But having said that, with all that involved, 50% of, you know, most people on this journey, 70% of people will have lost 50% and kept it off over 5 years. Now, I swear to God, if somebody had told me right at the beginning that to give them full grand, and I can promise you that 5 years later from now, you will have lost half of your excess weight and still have it off, I would have snapped their bloody hand off. Because I knew that if I look back over the 5 previous years, all I had ever done is lose, what, 2 stone, put it back on, plus another few pounds. Lose 3 stone, put it back on, plus another few pounds. I have never, ever taken it off and kept it off for any period of time. Anybody else feel the same? Let me know. Have I lost you all? Or does nobody agree with me here? I'm hoping that you're still here. No? Okay. Well, anybody here? Somebody give me a thumbs up so that I know, because I've not got anything. Yes, getting some through. Perfect. So, you know, 5 years, £4,000 and God, 50% of it off. Now I have lost, and so many people have lost 85% plus and kept it off. And you know, if you get this mindset right, that is not just possible, but absolutely there for you. And it is the most amazing thing. Okay? But thank you, Zoe. I'm getting lots of thumbs up. They just weren't coming through to me, but I've got them now. Thanks, guys. So, right. So how do you work out that excess weight loss? Because I get people saying, oh God, I've stalled. It just doesn't seem to be coming off. And then when I tell them to work out their excess weight loss, they're astounded. So afterwards, when I put this out and the real play, I am going to actually let people know, let you know how to do that. So you can work it out and let us know. Put it on and say, blinking out, you know, I've lost already 30% of my excess weight, or 80%, or whatever it is, you know, because I think most people are not as aware of how much they've lost. So I'll put that figure out there later. But, okay, so that's great. So we're talking about excess weight loss, right? So, you know, people say, so when I do my coaching, as some of you know, I do bariatric coaching. The first thing that I say to people is, okay, so what would you prefer? What do you really want to achieve out of this journey? What's the most important thing? And most people, excuse me, adjusting my breath. And most people will say, I want to be healthy. I really want to be healthy, okay? And I really genuinely feel that they do. However, when I ask them the question of what would you prefer to be? 10 stone and a size 20, excuse me to the men that are here, because I don't know what that equates to, but you get the idea, because most of you are aware of dress sizes. or 20 stone and a size 10. Most people look at me and go, oh, do you know what? I think I'd rather be 20 stone and a size 10. Because the majority of us, although we want to be healthy, we really are so consumed with our body image and what we look like, you know? And that's why I want to ask you, let me turn the page, sorry guys. What does weight loss success mean to you? So is it about losing the numbers? Is it about percentage weight loss? Okay. Because for me, what does it mean? So for me, success meant that I was no longer compulsive about food. Food and thoughts of food had taken over my life. There wasn't a minute that went by, well, no, not a minute, you know, maybe there were the odd times when I was thinking of other things, but eating food, planning food, how many calories were in things, how many carbs were in things, whether I could have that, when I could have that, what I could have, how much I weighed, how much I exercised. It was just all consuming. I was completely and utterly obsessed with it for years. And for me, success was that I was not compulsive about that anymore. That would to me was just freedom. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to be tracking. I didn't want to be calorie counting. I didn't want to be thinking about it. Okay, that was important for me. So, Kelly, well done. You've lost 85% and kept it off for 2 years now. That's awesome. Bloody amazing. Well done, darling. So proud of you. But I didn't want to be compulsive about it. So, yes, you know, I know we talk about planning and looking at my fitness plan and, you know, carbs and calories and protein. For this patient, I wanted to be free of that. I wanted to just feel in a comfortable place. And I wanted to be able to eat things that other people ate. I wanted to be like I saw a naturally slim person be. They could eat a bit of cake and that was fine. They could go out and have a cream tea, but then they weren't eating all day after that, and they weren't beating themselves up over it. They enjoyed their food, but it was all in moderation. They weren't obsessed by it, and that was what I wanted. And over the last few years, that on the whole is what I have got. Now, I'm going to caveat that by telling you I am an addict. I am addicted to food. I was addicted to alcohol. I don't mind sharing that. It is over 7 years now since I've had an alcoholic drink, and that was part of my journey. I understand addiction inside and out. But I am addicted to food, and there are times in my journey where sugar can become a real problem for me. I have to be in a really good mind place to cope with eating lots of sugar or even bits of sugar. If I've not got my mindset in the right place, I have to stay away from it. And I have certain rules around sugar. So one of mine is I never eat it alone, I never hide it. If I eat sugar, if I eat a dessert, a meal, I only ever eat it with somebody else. So I'll share it with my husband. I have a few mouthfuls of it. I enjoy it. I don't feel guilty about it, and I enjoy it out there. But secret eating, guilt eating, all of that, I can't do. I just can't do that anymore, because that's not giving me the freedom that I want. So that's just a little bit of what works for me. But, you know, everybody's different. You know, what works for them is very different, but that works for me. So I wanted to be happy with my self-image and be confident about myself. And that was really important. That was what success was. It wasn't a number on the scale. It was not being compulsive about food, being happy with where I was, looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, you know what, you're all right. I don't think I'm ever going to look at myself in the mirror and not go, well, I don't like that bit and I don't like that bit. But you know what, on the whole, I'm all right with where I am. So that was what was important to me. And you know, What I try to get people to do now is not to just look at the numbers. So rate yourself, and I'll write this in the comments as well, on 5 things, not the numbers, on a regular basis. So how healthy are you? It has been proven that losing 10% of your excess body weight will improve your health by at least 30%. So people that have got pre-diabetes no longer have pre-diabetes. Some people that have the start of sleep apnea don't have that anymore. It stops you snoring. It helps with your insulin. It can help with your osteoarthritis. 10%, that's all you need. So how healthy are you? Do you feel healthier? Are you taking less tablets? How fit are you? So can you walk further without getting out of breath? Can you do things that you couldn't do? Things like, for example, I couldn't even put my own socks on without getting out of breath. And we don't rate that. But that's bloody important stuff, you know? To feel that is amazing. How do you feel about your body? And this is a mood point. I think we're going to have to do loads of stuff about this, because you lose weight and suddenly you concentrate on bits that you didn't concentrate on before. And I hear all the time people say, well, I've lost the weight and I still don't like myself. I still don't like my body. And that is where the work really lies. It really lies in, come on guys, we've got to learn to love ourselves. And until we can love ourselves, it doesn't matter a jot what we do about our body weight and our weight. We're always going to find something that we're not happy with. And that has been my experience and the experience of so many of my coaching patients over the years, that it is about finding ourselves again. It's about learning to love ourselves, warts and all, wherever the hell we are, and enjoying this journey. So this is why I want you to rate these things. So health, fitness, body image, work performance. I know that so many people tell me, suddenly people started noticing them. Things like people had opened the door for them again. They used to shut the door in your face. I used to have that all the time. You know what? You're huge, but you're bloody invisible. People don't see you. People don't take notice of you. They don't recognize you. They don't listen to you in business meetings. And people say people listen to them again. They listen to them in business meetings. Suddenly they're getting promotions that they never did before. Nothing else has changed apart from their weight, which I believe leads us on to that self-confidence. So, you know, we have more self-confidence because we are suddenly doing what we couldn't do before. And I think the weight loss surgery helps us with that first bit. It helps us easily get that first 4 or 5 stone off. And then the rest of it's up to us. But if we tap in to this self-confidence, this absolute mindset change, and can really work on that in the first 12 months, then, you know, the world is our absolute oyster. I swear to God it is. This journey has given me everything. It's given me a new business. It's given me the connection. I am doing something now. You can probably see I'm so bloody passionate about this stuff that I absolutely love every bloody day of my life. Helping you guys is my mission and my passion in life. And I can't imagine myself doing anything different. And when I started my journey, I was teaching in a classroom. I didn't dislike that, but it wasn't what I was meant to be here for. I have found my life's purpose through this work. And you guys, you know, you can too. I know you can. So you're rating yourself health, fitness, body image, work performance, and self-confidence. So how much self-confidence? And rate yourself on a percentage. Every month or every 3 months, you know, how much has that improved? Not just like how much weight have I lost, but how much has that improved? How much of these things have improved? That is success. Who would agree with me? That is bloody success. Not a number on a scale, not a percentage, not a statistic. It's how I feel about myself, how my life has changed. Yeah, great. These thumbs up. Brilliant. Loving this. Yeah, absolutely loving it. So 30%, I hate this bit, but I've got to tell you because it's realistic expectations. 30% of bariatric patients don't hit that 50%. That's what Dr. Ruby told us at our recent conference that we had. We had a support seminar in Derby, and we're going to do this every year. And it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. We had 2 days of just all this type of stuff. I did loads of stuff in emotional eating, craving control. Anybody else who was there, you know, give us a heart, thumbs up, let everybody know about it. Next year we're going to be sold out. There's going to be that many of us because it was amazing. And he said 30% of patients fail. And it isn't because their surgery fails. It's not because they stretch their sleeve out, because that's really hard to do. And I'll talk about that in another one. It's not because they're anatomically wrong. Yeah, there are, you know, there are an element of patients worldwide that will happen to, but it's not usually that. It is because they don't get this stuff right. They don't change their mindset. They don't use it as a tool, or it's the only tool in their toolkit. Their surgery is the only tool. They don't pick up any other tools. And the mindset stuff is what gives you the other tools to manage those times when it doesn't work. You know, those days when, you know what, for some reason our restrictions just doesn't seem to be there and we can't rely on that. Or I just want to eat everything inside. Or fallen out with my husband and I just can't stop eating. I'm on my period. Sorry guys, you know. Or, you know, I'm sat, I know, for example, one of the people that are on, if he's still on, he works, it's a lorry driver. I'm sat in my lorry and I'm bored and I'm sat in a traffic jam and I just want to eat. You know, what tools have we got in that toolkit that's going to help us with that? Because we need more tools in that toolkit, and that's what I want to help you with over this series of lives. I'm hoping that you've got something from that. I really do. So let's get back to some statistics. I know I'm on 40 minutes and I said it'd be half an hour. Are you okay for me to carry on, guys? Well, if not, go. If you've got things too, those of you that want to stay with me, because I've got some more stuff to share. Okay, over the lifetime of your surgery, you, on average, and these are average, you will have lost 40% at 6 months. You should have lost about 40% of your excess weight at 6 months. And between 80 to 100% at 12 months. However, that is for somebody who has a BMI of 40 or thereabouts or less. Those of you that are coming with very high BMIs, it may take longer. And the other thing is that that magic number, that 25 BMI, is not accessible for all of us. And that, you know, when I say that to people, go, oh, you know, but it's just not realistic, because some of us are never going to get that far. Some of us are not. Look at your genetics, look at your family around you. Look at everybody. If we took 100 people in this country, we're all different shapes and sizes, and we're meant to be. And somebody with a BMI of 25 may be all, you know, they may all be fat and bones, but they've got no muscle. Somebody with a BMI has got loads of muscle, may have no fat and be healthy as anything. So that BMI measure is not really helpful. And if you've been a BMI of 55, 60, 65, it isn't realistic to expect to be a BMI of 25. But what is realistic is to expect to have a really different life, to be able to do things that you couldn't do before, to be in a dress size or a trouser size that you were never before, and to keep it off, and to have a better quality of life. Because that first 12 months is brilliant. It's what we call the honeymoon period, the golden 12 months, whatever you want, but the body equilibrates. And this is where we need to change what we do in that 12 months. We have to change our relationship with food. We have to change how we handle our emotions. Why did we use food in the first place? Why did we get where we are, where my next door neighbour didn't? You know, why is it that I am obese or was obese? Well, I still have obesity, because you know what? I'm never going to be free from that. That is a disease, as I said at the beginning. It's only ever in remission. And it's my responsibility to keep it in remission. And I have a tool bag, a toolkit, of which my surgery is one part. And it's a bloody big part. It's 25%, which is a huge part. but 75% of it's up to me. And after that first 12 months, I noticed lots of things change. I could eat more, and I could eat foods that I couldn't eat to begin with. So I couldn't eat bread, I couldn't eat pasta, I couldn't eat rice, I couldn't eat pineapple. I really struggled with dry meat for the first 12 months. And suddenly, and it was almost like a light switch overnight, I could more or less eat anything. And the problem is, because I did. And I noticed that my head, my subconscious mind, was making me find ways of using food again as an emotional crutch. I was eating more often instead. So I lived in France for a while, and I still have a house in France, and I go and see my daughter. And you know that 20-minute rule that we have? You know, stop eating after 20 minutes? That went out the window. Because in France, they eat a meal over 3 hours. That was great for me, because I could eat the start, wait half an hour, eat the main course, not as much as everybody else, eat the dessert, eat the cheese. But you know what? Over a period of 3 hours, I was eating as much as a normal person would. And you know, I started to eat like that. So, for example, I would eat my meal, and I might stop after 20 minutes, but then I'd put it to one side, and I'd go back an hour later and eat a bit more, and a bit more. And then I'd find that I was eating the whole takeaway or whatever it was, but just over a longer period of time. And my mindset was driving me back to using food. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink. Oh, okay. I was eating more sweet food. And that's when I had to learn tools and put boundaries in around my sugar consumption. Because at first I'd stopped. I didn't eat any. And I felt free. And then I started to eat a bit more. And I realised it had a hold of me. That when I ate one biscuit, I had to eat the packet. And I was really scary. I was really frightened about that. So I had to work with my mentor, and I had a mentor, I have a coach, and I still do, to help me work out some boundaries around sugar, because I knew that that was a problem for me. But I needed to be free, and I didn't want to give it up forever. So I worked on some boundaries around that. I found that I wasn't exercising the same. I still struggle with exercise, guys. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Exercise is just my place that I struggle. However, I have found ways of doing it. I love yoga now. I like yoga because I love the mindset. I'm a very spiritual person. That's going to come into this a lot, I can tell you. You know, and that works really well with me. I walk my dogs. I love doing that. I do other things, but I'm not really a massive exercise fan. And, you know, that's part of my journey. I'm always going to be honest with you. But oh God, where was I up to? So my body was trying to get me back, or should I say my mind, not my body, was trying to get me back to using food. And I noticed these subtle things coming back into play. I was eating more often. I was starting to graze more often. And you know, after that 12 months, we've got to have definite eating. 20 minutes, stop for 3 hours. 20 minutes, stop for 3 hours, and nothing in between. You know, we've got this tool, but we've got to use it properly. Eating solid protein. I was eating more carbs were coming in. I was eating more pasta, more rice, because I could. So it's about getting that mindset. The other thing that I really noticed, that when I was losing my weight, when I was in this like weight loss phase, every time I met somebody, they would go, oh, Amanda, you look amazing. You look amazing. Oh my God, look at you. You've lost weight. And do you know what? I didn't really like it. I was like, oh, but I did like it. It was like, don't, but do. You know, that like when you know, somebody fancies you and you're like, oh, don't, but do, you know, yeah, but no. Because when that stopped and it became normal for me to be like that, I was like, shit, nobody's noticing anymore. And that was really scary, because, you know, those comments urged me on, and then they stopped because people just got used to me being like this. And for a time, I started to put weight back on. And I know that there's loads of self-sabotage there. It was like, well, put it back on, you can lose it again, and then people will say it again. And that had been what my pattern was. Put it back on, lose it, put it back on, lose it. Because I actually really quite liked that. So I had to work on that. I found all sorts. I'm going to share loads of this with you in my journey of how I self-sabotaged my weight loss all along. But anyhow, so I didn't get the compliments anymore. So I had to work on myself, and this was really important. My self-image had been eroded through years and years of self-abuse, through guilt, through shame, people-pleasing, pain, and I had to work on myself, and that's what my journey has been about. And you know, it's been about, God, I'm getting emotional now. It's been about loving me for who I am, for liking me again, for getting to that place where I can look in the mirror and go, do you know what, Amanda, you're all right. And that's not on the outside, although, you know, it is important to me, but it's inside that's just been the biggest change. That I feel that I've got integrity, that people listen to me, that I've got a message to share with the world, that I've got something that I enjoy doing and that I'm passionate about and I can help people. And that, I don't know, I am shining my light now of who I am and what I've got to give and how I can help other people. And it's just bloody amazing. And that is why I want to do this Mindset TV, because I think it's time for me to shine my light and to become more visible. And just to finish this, holy shit, in the last 3 weeks before I started this, I have put half a stone on. And I absolutely know why, and that's why I had to put it out there to tell people I was going to do it, because I was putting weight on. And I know I was self-sabotaging myself, because if I put the weight back on, I can't stand in front of you guys and do this. And why? Because I'm scared that you guys are going to reject me. I'm scared that you're going to say I'm shit at this. I'm scared that you're going to say, you know what, Amanda is rubbish. And you know what? I know on a conscious level, it is statistics. The more people that see me, the more visible I'm going to become, the more people are going to say, well, that's just not for me. You know, I'm rubbish, but just not for me. Didn't work for me. Don't understand it. Don't get there. Painful. Nobody likes that. We don't like it. But the other thing is, what I realised was, if I don't do this, those people that do resonate with me, that do get something from it, aren't going to get that message. They're not going to learn this stuff. And that is disrespectful to me. It's disrespectful to you, and it's disrespectful to the universe. So I've got to get out here and do this. And, you know, feel the fear and do it anyway. Pick my big girls' knickers up, get on and be there for you guys. And you know what? This is the first one now, so it's nowhere near as scary as it was, because you've all been so, so lovely tonight. And, you know, I love each and every one of you. And if I can help you all with just one thing each week, do you know, my job's done. And I'm going to go and get another cup of tea, cuddle up with my dogs on the sofa and chill out. Okay, guys, please, when I put this up, share it out there. Let's get this out there. Let's get so many people. If you want to learn more about coaching, one-to-one stuff, of, well, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing it for that. This is not like a plug. But if you do want to know more, reach out to me. But really, the main thing is that you're here, you know, every week or whenever you can, and hopefully I can help you be more successful in your journey. And, you know, it's lovely to see you all. Thanks, guys, for being here. And I will see you next week, 7 o'clock, Bariatric Mindset TV. Be there. Mwah! Bye.